as a submissive, I'd say more times than not, I like feigning or behaving as if I'm not enjoying myself, even though, yes, I've consented to all of it. Ember, while I keep reading, could you answer for me? What are you after when you feign or play this way? Are you looking for more intensity or aggression, greater power gap, punishment, etc.? When you play this way, when you feign this way, what are you after? You're testing to see if the dominant is going to be upset about it or not. Oh. So you want to act in a way to make the dominant think something that's not authentic to gauge an authentic reaction from the dominant? And we think this is an effective method of testing? What if the test is in you setting very clear boundaries? What if the test is you negotiating about this with full honesty and transparency? Because you said, I feel compelled to stay committed to the role. But what you just laid out for me is it's not a role that you're playing. This is a genuine, I'm fearful, I've had bad experiences in the past, and so I'm going to act like I don't like what you're doing to test your reaction. But how can they give you an authentic response to something that is inauthentic? So here are 3 things that I would throw out for you, my dear Ember. If this is something that you are doing to test because it's like vetting and you can't trust this dominant, then you need to slow down and get some more patterns and really build that trust. You can play and you can feign and you can brat, but if you're playing and feigning and bratting is not actually feigning, it's true. It's I'm genuinely afraid, so I'm testing you in this way. It's I don't want to be fucked over again. I don't want to be hurt again. I don't want to be whatever, fill in the blank. So it's fear in its self-preservation. It's not actually bratting. It's not actually feigning. It's not actually a role that you're playing. And so that would be the thing is if you can't trust the dominant and you feel like you have to constantly test that way, then you need to slow down, take a step back, maybe choose a different dominant. I'm not sure what's happening there. And if that's true, then wouldn't saying you're feigning being a form of self-gaslighting? Well, I don't think it's self-gaslighting. More it's like when we give a dysfunction a virtuous name, we empower the dysfunction. Same kind of thing. And it's actually gaslighting the dominant. Think about it. If you're telling the dominant that you're feigning, but you're really seriously testing, that's very manipulative. It's very manipulative. Not from a malicious standpoint, from a self-preservation standpoint. And that's what you all need to really understand about emotional manipulation in general. Yes, there can be very horrible, malicious narcissists who use manipulation as a strategy to be malicious. But more times than not, what I have found is manipulation comes from fear and self-preservation. Okay? And so that's what we want to keep in check here. So, if this is a genuine, I don't feel safe, I can't trust, and I want to make sure that I'm not going to be fucked over again, that's something that you express to the dominant because that's the real test. That's the real test, not playing these manipulative mind games. That's the real test. You being vulnerable about your baggage and your shit and you seeing how they react. Is it going to be too much for them? If they're going to be like, oh God, no, okay, peace out, too much. Or are they going to hold space for you and be understanding with you? Like that's more of an important test, right? So you have to determine, is it feigning or not? And the definition that you gave me is this is not feigning. So that's the first kind of point before I get into these 3 right here. And Ember, if I'm missing it, if you have additional context, please feel free to volley that out. But I would say work on that. Safety, trust, all of that. But if it is a role play, if it is more, I'm playfully feigning, more of a bratting thing, then I would say create greater clarity around when the role starts and ends. So that the dominant knows this is just play, this is just a role, this is just feigning, this is a farce. That would be a huge thing for me. Create a greater clarity around when the role starts or ends, and that includes boundaries about how you're behaving. What words can you say, can you not say? What words will be interpreted as authentic or disrespectful or disheartening or whatever. A way to do that, and this is my second point, is establish cue words. Okay? This is only under the context that this is truly play, truly a role, truly feigning, truly just playful bratting. But I would establish cue words of when I do it. Like if they're trying to teach me something or express their feelings in a genuine way, then I don't. Okay, so I would say, yeah, dig into that some more. And maybe we can follow up in the next Q&A about it. But dig into that. What are the triggers or the patterns that you're seeing? What are the triggers or patterns that you're seeing that cause this behavior in you? I would love that data if you can find it for me. That would be brilliant. So establish cue words. So for instance, if this is truly feigning, bratting, play, role play, whatever, then I would say it's very important to establish cue words. Rude. Okay. So that's the thing. If one of the cue words is rude, then you and the dominant need to establish that when you use the word rude, you don't actually believe the dominant is being rude. And the dominant needs to know that. Okay? The dominant is doing something and you're like, oh, this is so stupid. The dominant needs to know. This isn't stupid. She doesn't think it's stupid. It hasn't crossed the line. This is just part of the feigning, part of the play, part of the bratting. All of that. And then I would say, you were talking about expressing gratitude, whatnot. Express gratitude and worship outside of the role about whatever you feel grateful about, but specifically, express gratitude and worship outside of the role about the freedom that you found in the role. You want to talk about validating that experience for your dominant as well? Express gratitude and worship for the fact that they held that space for you. They let you feign, they let you play, they let you brat, and they didn't get offended. They were secure enough to hold that space for you. What a beautiful way to circle back at the end of that little bratty play, feigning, role play, whatever. Come back to the dominant and pour out gratitude and pour out worship for the freedom of being able to play like that, feign that way, have that role play, right? Because I imagine that would be a deep point of gratitude if you've been burned that way before. So if you have these clear communication, you have this negotiation, you establish these cue words and these boundaries, you feel safe, you can trust, you're testing in healthy, honest ways, then we pour out worship for how we were able to play in that space, how we were able to feign in that space. And that in of itself will create such a powerful contrast, I think, for the both of you.